Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins Gate. In the last episode, Rintaro, Daru and Maho were preparing to leave with Kurisu's laptop and hard drive when agents either from Stratfor or Derpa infiltrated the building and cut off all avenues of escape except one. Daru, however, managed to have an escape route ready. Unfortunately, our relation was cut short when we ran into none other than our good old friends Moeka Kiryu and the SERN Rounders. Basically a repeat performance of the Alpha worldline, except of course Mayuri Shina is not in this situation and she's not going to die this time. That unfortunately is the only silver lining in this situation.
あなたが来るなら他の二人はここへ置いて行ってもいい。
Sadly, if Daru can't crack the password, which he probably won't be able to since he designed the security system in the first place, Moeka will decide that he is no longer useful and execute him. Exactly the same way that she did to Mayuri Shina on the Alpha worldline. Our only safe bet is that worldline convergence should hopefully be on our side here on the Beta worldline. But we actually cannot be certain of that at this moment in time. We don't want to leave things to chance anymore. But we don't really have much of a choice. But we need Daru on our side. And yet, we have no bargaining power anymore.
だったら俺が行く。それでいいだろう。
あなたのことは上から何も聞かされていない。パスワードを知っているかどうかもわからない。
Tanuji? I'm seriously considering that complaint. I don't care if you threaten me with violence, I'm not paying your rent anymore. You can say goodbye to your rent. Damn, she saw right through me. Moeka put the knife back to Maho's neck. It's an honest shame that none of these people realize the consequences of their actions and the damned future that awaits us all. If any of these organizations get their way, it's all over. Looks like we're out of options.
もっとエロい七の時にお願いしたいわけだが。
Unfortunately, that is never going to happen, Daru. Daru was joking, but his whole body was shaking. What do I do? They were going to kill Daru. I thought fast and hard as I could, but nothing came to me. In this world line, Daru was going to live until 2036 and complete the time machine. That much was clear from Suzuha's testimony. If the world lines were going to converge, even if Moeka took Daru here, he wouldn't be killed, right? No, but that didn't mean I could leave him here. One of the men with Moeka was looking at his watch. She noticed it too. Looks like the situation's even more tense. I might have felt they were taking too much time with the kidnapping done in broad daylight. I'd hoped that somebody might have wandered by, but there was no counting on that stroke of luck. I needed to solve this myself instead of relying on others. Can't rely on the time leap machine to bail us out of this one. And even if we had it, we wouldn't use it.
誰か殺してみせればいい?
You truly are a cold individual, M4. I felt a cold knife press hard against my carotid artery. Or carotid, sorry. The situation just got a whole lot worse. Daru and Maho were screaming, but suddenly it all seemed unreal, like it was taking place in a distant world. Sadly, we don't have Suzuha to bail us out this time. They say that's what happens when someone is confronted with their own death, and it was happening to me now. I can't die either way, right? I tried asking myself that. I tried asking Suzuha, even though she wasn't here. I tried asking the world itself. Of course, nobody answered. Not that we were surprised in the least. The fact that I might not die didn't mean I could do something stupid here. A normal college kid like me would be too scared to move once they had a knife to their neck. I'd seen people die many times, and I'd almost been killed, but I never did get used to it. Not once. Thoughts of Kurisu's blood came back into my mind and I almost suffered a flashback. My body shook, and it was all I could do to keep from collapsing to the ground. Was there nothing else I could do? Just when I was about to give up, a black van pulled up and braked hard at one end of the alley, blocking us in. The sliding door opened, and out poured men carrying assault rifles. Ooh! Say hello to the hardcore military. I don't think these guys are with SERN. They were all wearing grey military uniforms and face masks. Their eyes were the eyes of trained soldiers. From their huge frames and the colour of their skin, it was clear that they weren't Japanese. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the 20 men that were hunting us in the building were from Stratfor, the people currently holding us hostage are from SERN, and these military men must clearly be from Derpa. That doesn't make me feel any better in the slightest. I immediately realized that all this was real. It wasn't cosplay or anything like that. These guns were real, and a battle was about to begin. My experience with the August 13 attack and the war zone I lived in only a few days ago came back to me. It didn't matter who was friend or foe. We're going to have a massive shootout. Moeka moved the instant I spoke. She saw the attackers and jumped into the shadow of a nearby building. The other rounders spread out too. They let go of Maho, who was standing up, confused in the middle of the alley.
Maho, sit up!
We need to get the hell out of Dodge. Or should I say the duck out of Fodge. The man who was holding me was the only one who reacted a bit too slowly. Bad news! Bad news! They're firing! Oh dear word, are they firing? There was a sharp noise and a bullet went through the helmet of the rounder that was holding a knife to my throat. As he went down, I went down with him and I hit the ground hard. Things just got even worse. The impact made me let go of Daru's backpack. while the other rounders grabbed it off the ground and ran in the opposite direction of the van. Unfortunately, there's no cover for you, good sir. A man got out of the van, evidently the commander, and barked orders in what sounded like Russian. Oh, it's not Stratfor or Durba. It's the Russians. And it keeps getting worse, adventurers. The situation just keeps on giving. One of the soldiers turned their gun on the fleeing rounders. So either these guys are Spetsnaz or they're some new type of Russian commando unit. Either way, they're still dangerous. They have the weapons. Her body flew up off the ground as both she and the backpack were torn open. In a battle of brute force, the rounders are no match against these new enemies. The contents of the backpack fell to the ground, scattering across the asphalt. The laptop hard drive would have more gunfire than could possibly have been necessary. Kurusu's laptop and hard disk were turned to unrecognizable scrap in just a few seconds. I crawled behind a light pole without even bothering to look. Well, it looks like the Russians have done our job for us. It seems like they don't want anyone to have the information on Kurusu's laptop and hard drive either, and have thus completely obliterated both of them into rubble. Of course, the time travel theory that they have in their possession, that of Dr. Nakabashi's so-called theory, is actually a crudely plagiarized version of the original work that the Russians have now completely and utterly obliterated. Excellent job! It really all happened in an instant. I looked around and the Russian soldiers were running towards us. Moeka and her rounders had vanished at some point, leaving only the two bodies. The soldiers silently recovered the remains of the laptop and hard disk, picked up the bodies of the two rounders and got right back in the van. They didn't even pause to look at us. There were only a couple of minutes between the time when they arrived and when they left. So SERN, Stratfor or Durpa were after us, and the Russians were after them. That's what happens when the hunters suddenly become the hunted. All that were left were little fragments lying on the ground. The blood from two bodies, Maho, who was lying on the ground and shaking, Daru, who was standing in shock behind one of the buildings, and me, lying on the ground. My heart had been pounding the whole time. I only felt the pain in my neck after it was all over. Evidently the knife had cut me a little when I'd fallen. We may not die here, but we can still be badly injured. It's amazing what one can live through. A while later we finally heard the sirens of a police car. You certainly took your sweet time. And it was only then that I remembered I was in Akihabara, Japan. The Third World War may have started long ago, and we just didn't know it. I realized that in the face of a war between nations, we truly were powerless. Thank you so much, Worldline Convergence. Akihabara was in an uproar. There were lots of helicopters in the sky that probably belonged to the media. We escaped to the lab, making sure that no one was following us. And that is where this episode of Let's Play Steins Gate 0 will end, adventurers. When we return, we will take a deep breath, try and calm down, and figure out just exactly where to go from here. After all the insanity that we have just borne witness to. A power struggle between SERN, Stratfor, Derpa, and the Russian Federation. Joy. And we are caught in the middle of it all. A dinky little future gadget laboratory with a wannabe college student slash Chinibi whack job and his friends. Things are going to get much worse, aren't they, adventurers, before things can get better. Hopefully things will get better in the next episode. But at this point, I will leave you. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.